Que los latinos anden despertando. Abre los ojos para ver lo que está pasando. All right, I think I fixed it. You hear me good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why it was echoing, but all right, we're good to go. We're good to go.
You got the echo effect or what?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. It was throwing me off. I was hearing myself, like I would say something and then I'd hear it like while you were answering, so it was kind of weird. But yeah, welcome everybody back to the show. For all those tuning in, thank you for tuning in, and those that are gonna listen to the audio after, likewise, thank you for tuning in there. We had a pretty good weekend, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I would ask you how your weekend went, but I was there.
Yeah, it was fun, exhausting, but it was good overall. It was being with family, sharing time.
Yeah,
always good.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. Tahoe's really nice, man. Like it's just in general, right? All the nature around there, the trees,
The bald eagles.
The bald eagles swooping into the lake. You know what I mean? That was pretty cool. That was pretty dope.
Was pretty cool.
The lake itself, I mean, nice and blue. So
yeah,
I did get a little scared at the beginning with all that pollen. I thought my allergies were gonna get me.
I thought it was gonna be a nightmare in the beginning. I was like, oh man. I don't get allergies that bad, but I know you do. Gloria does. Vino does. All kinds of people, babies and stuff like that. So
yeah,
no, it was good. I don't think anybody had any major,
no major effects from it,
anything like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely good. It was fun. It was good to hang out. Like you said, spend time with family, right? Especially when you're, celebrating somebody's birthday, it's like it's cool. It's cool. It's life, right? It's part of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched Sound of Freedom yesterday. So
what did you think?
I thought it was good. I liked it. I mean, it was it's one of those things where, like, for example, like you, me, people like us, right, that are kind of paying attention, observing things, we know that that's going on, right? In a sense, we didn't need the movie to tell us what's going on because, we're able to identify that. And, but it was still one of those things where it's like, okay, I want to go see it because it looked like a good film with an important message. And, it was good. It was good, man. Like, to see those things portrayed in a sense, right? You're not seeing the real deal, obviously, but to see those situations portrayed, how it happens, how it could happen, you see just that whole situation in general, how easy it seems, right? For someone to, grab a child and, next thing you know, you don't know where that child is, right? Mm-hmm. But anywho, but overall, I really like the movie. I think people, if they haven't seen it, I mean, they should go see it, right? You're supporting, in this case, you're supporting people that are trying to deliver a good message. It's not just like a random movie. And so I think it's worth it. So if you got $10, $15, whatever it is where you're at, I think, it's something good to go and watch. And what was your overall take on it?
Well, I don't know if what was the agent's name again? Is
Tim Ballard?
Tim Ballard, Thomas Ballard. Before the movie, I did hear about this guy's story. I did watch almost like a little mini documentary
Mm-hmm.
of what he had done, and I thought it was pretty crazy when I watched that documentary. Um, because they had like live recordings of when he was like undercover and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know the full extent of the entire story, so it was kind of nice to see this movie kind of paint the entire picture
Mm-hmm.
of it. But that's the crazy part too, is that this is not something that someone wrote up in a script
Mm-hmm.
and just came up with the idea, the concept. Is that these events actually took place, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that guy, man, he's got some cojones, man.
I
He's
know, man. It was like, I don't know, first 15, 20 minutes, it kind of gets to you. And it's like, man, it's like I want to go quit my job and go help that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like you
yeah,
feel like, oh man, I gotta do something, you know. Definitely it takes you through like different emotions for sure. It's a movie that like really, how could you put it? It grabs your attention. It's like you're there, you know.
yeah.
You feel sad, you feel angry, you feel happy in some moments, and it's just
Mhm.
like, but like you said right now, it's like somebody like went through that, right? That was
That was
him.
real. That really
That was
happened.
real story. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I think my eyes got watery like 4 or 5 times maybe.
Yeah, around there,
Around
somewhere
there.
around there. Yeah, same.
I was like,
But
oh, something got in my eye.
you're looking around. Everybody else is crying. You're like, okay, it's good.
uh,
But it was a good movie. It was a good movie. I think it was well written. It was just the perfect dose of reality for people that are new to this.
mhm,
You kind of touched on it earlier, is that the media doesn't report on these raids or these busts or these operations where they catch, I don't know, 15, 12 pedophiles in one shot
mhm,
or rescue 50 kids in one shot. And throughout Trump's administration, down in Southern California, they were having major press conferences with these agents that would, conduct these raids or these undercover operations and bust pedos and save the kids.
yeah.
But you never saw that on CNN. You never saw that on Fox. You never saw they were never the headliners. You would have to go to local news in order to find,
Those
reporting
type of
on that.
spots. Hmm.
So this stuff has been happening, um, you know, since, Tim Ballard, especially in, under Trump's administration. So it's kind of cool, to bring it out. Um, I would call it's almost like an introduction to what's happening. Um, I was expecting something a little bit more because, we're aware of it a little bit more.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not disappointed. I
No.
see the point of it. I see that it's a small dose so
Yeah.
that, you know, people start paying attention to it and start recognizing it and, kind of go from there. But
Yeah.
I really like the way that they put the movie together. It was pretty good. Really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I agree with you there. I think they were just, trying to make it, in a sense, we always talk about manipulation, and sometimes people just don't believe in,
Hmm.
these sort of things. They just, call it conspiracy theories. Um, if if you pay attention to any of the mainstream media or anything, or those media pages, you've seen a lot of them calling this movie, it's a QAnon movie, or that, basically that it's unreal, even though it's based on a true story. Um, you know what I mean? It's kind
Oh,
of,
yeah, that makes sense.
it kind of makes no sense, right? But that's what they do, right? People are manipulated, and then they see, oh, it's a QAnon movie, so
Hmm.
I'm not gonna watch it, right? I think, obviously that's their goal
Yeah.
to make people get away from it. You just throw a little label on it, and you mask the real thing that they're trying to, where they're trying to shed that light into. And yeah, and I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it so that those people that might not 100% believe it, but were curious enough to go watch it, it at least, it was like, how do you call it? Like eased the what do you call it? It gave it to them softly, like the message or the reality. There you go.
Yeah.
The reality of what's happening.
Yeah. And, they kind of gave you um, like a dose of, how much this is happening in the United States. It's a leader in this and stuff like that. And they're just giving you little stats throughout the movie and stuff like that. So, it kind of lets you, it's giving you a red pill little by little. It's not the entire pill, but, it's pieces of the red pill in the way that they put the movie together. So I think that's why I initially I was kind of like, man, this is a little slow, and started feeling like a little bit disappointed. But I was like, no, it's good. It's just that we're at another level of awareness of what's going on out there. So it was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I mean all the stats that they give, like you said, it's and when you see it's like, oh, America is the biggest customer for that, it's like, man, like that it's just disappointing because at the end of the day, as great as this country is, no matter what people try to say, like that's probably one of the most disappointing, horrific things that can be happening here.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I believe the film is important too, because if people didn't know, now they know, and if maybe they didn't believe, now they do.
Yeah.
So all the stats like that. I think it was saying, is it uh is it 2 million kids a year? I'm trying to remember, but I think it was 2 million children a year get trafficked. That the U.S. is the biggest customer. And I was watching the movie, right, and then I'm thinking about, I see certain scenes, and then I just think, okay, it reminds me of Epstein Island, right, and then I see another scene, and then I just think, all right, open borders, like I see all the things that contribute to what's happening
that make that possible.
Yeah. So, and if we have weak leaders, them combating it, they're not doing that at the highest level, right? And you kind of see that in the movie when he's dealing with his boss. It's like, basically dude had to quit his job to continue what he was going to do. And, thankfully he did that, and he was able to do what he did. But like, you see that, right? You see that stuff happening, and you go like, dude, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, like, what are you guys really focused on? You know what I mean? Like, I even started having those thoughts.
Yeah. It kind of just brings everything to light, man. It's so what's the actor's name?
Jim Caviezel.
So at the end of the movie, he kind of breaks down all the challenges that they had, to get this movie, to the theaters, because it had already been shot and done 5 years ago. 5 years ago, right? And then he goes down the list of all the people, all the organizations that were trying to keep them from, bringing the movie to the theaters, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it went down to, politicians and whatnot. So it just goes to show you is that these people, they should have been supporting it. It's like, who isn't going to support, protecting children?
Right.
And it just goes to show you, it just goes back to the same old patterns. Wiener with his,
whatever bills he got going,
bills that he's trying to pass, so that the age of consent is even lower and lower and lower and lower. It's like they're telling you what their mission is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was pretty cool because it was kind of like in their face. It's like, you try to stop us. Uh, well, you didn't stop us 5 years later, but we're still here, and we're gonna blow this movie up so that, it's breaking. Yeah, I don't. It's not breaking records, but it beat Indiana Jones in the box
Yeah.
office at number 3 or something like that.
Yeah. I think it was the number one movie this past week. So yeah,
Okay.
it beat Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think they've made, I think, over 40 million so far
Yeah.
on this movie. So, and I think that's the cool thing. It's like a lot of people that went and watched it, well, first of all, like you said right at the end, how he kind of explains everything and the whole process to actually make that movie and to get it out, and he asks people, hey, share this movie with people, let them know about it so they could come see it. And, I think a lot of people are doing that because I have been seeing a lot of people, telling others, using their platforms to be like, hey,
Dana White.
Dana
Dana
White
White.
did it. I just saw one, who did I see? Uh, he's a singer. It's the Luis Fonsi.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he did a video, say go watch it. Jewel, I think she's a singer. Jewel did one.
Yeah.
Um, Different people, from the conservative movement as well, are telling people go watch this movie. It's worth it. It's a great movie, great message, and they're doing it because, again, it was a good movie with a great message. If it wasn't, then nobody would be sharing it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, it's done. And I didn't pay attention to it so much, but I did see that there was some sort of negativity towards it,
From who?
from some people on the right are trying
Really?
to like make it
Rhino?
that I don't know what it. I didn't like. I saw it and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna listen to this right now, because it was something about how it's just like it's a psyop, and it's actually helping pedophiles or some shit. And I was like, I saw that and I was like, I don't know
That makes
how.
absolutely no sense.
It makes no sense. And it's like there's certain, I get it, right? There's certain conspiracies that are true, and you know what I mean? You gotta question things. But there are some also that are like, come on, like not everything is a conspiracy, I for what I watched, it's like there's no way I can see how this helps
Yeah.
any of that. You know what I mean? So
Well, conspiracy is a weird word because you and I are conspiring to deliver a message. So, we're tied up in a conspiracy. So
mhm,
it's it's just when they use it in a negative way that,
yeah,
it's just like that's what they've been doing since the 60s, using it as a conspiracy theory. But um I don't know, man. It's weird the way that they try to um paint. They're gaslighting us. It's like saying that this is helping
yeah, yeah,
pedophiles. Is like, how is it helping pedophiles? It's shedding light
yeah,
on how it works. So people, like, if you want to go stick your head in a hole in the sand and not see the reality because I don't know, you're not emotionally strong enough to deal with it, then go do that.
hmm
But don't try to have that instinct to where you want to bash it because you can't deal with reality. It's like, come on, man, just swallow that red pill. It's really not that bad. Um,
yeah.
some
No,
people
and
just can't. I think it goes back to if they've said something for such a long period of time and they admit that they were wrong,
mm,
they feel like their life has been an entire lie all this time. So they
mhm,
have a real hard time just admitting that,
yeah,
hey, this is a real thing, type of thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like their whole life has been a lie, or what their belief system has been, wrong the whole time. Um, but yeah, I and it also goes to show, man, that there's, like, in everything, there's always people that are going to be hating on things, right? There's always going to be people that just try to divide everything or bring that division in, or just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a movie that is really uniting all kinds of people, right? That you might have not thought like, oh, this guy shared it and this guy shared it or that girl shared it. It's like, oh, like I wouldn't have thought they shared it, but they're speaking up about it and they're telling people to go watch it. So it's
Hmm.
like, cool. It's a unifying message, and that's the thing that like I guess bothers me when it comes down to all this is when we take for example like the whole California thing, right? How basically yesterday they weren't able to vote and say that child trafficking is a serious felony. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I
it's
saw that.
like, and it's basically Democrats that don't vote
Yeah,
for
they took some stats off too at the national level where they weren't counting certain categories anymore
it.
under like child trafficking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I saw that too, and it's the same leaders, it's the same freaking patterns,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And that why are they speaking badly about this movie? It's exactly that. Just
And
it's a
why and
pattern.
why is this like a political issue or like a partisan issue?
This is a
It's
this
a
is a human rights human rights issue. It's not a political thing.
No, it's not. And it's like because I think it was a committee that had to basically pass their vote to kind of get it to the next level so that it eventually does become a serious felony in California. And they didn't even vote on it. You know what I mean? So if they don't vote on it, then it doesn't pass. And it's like, I think it's 8 people total in that committee. 6 are, if I'm not mistaken, 6 are Democrat, 2 Republicans. You know what I mean? The 2 Republicans vote, yeah, make it a serious felony. The 6 Democrats don't vote. So it's like, how is it partisan? Like, I don't understand like how we got to the point where child trafficking is a partisan issue and they don't vote for it. They just kind of leave it alone. You know what I mean? Are the, and then I was thinking that all day, and it's bothering me. But I also remember the conversations we had before, and it's like, well, it's people with no morals,
Yeah,
you know.
and that's what I was going to tell you is before we go into that, the other point that I wanted to make is that we're talking on how it outperformed, certain movies out there like Indiana Jones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the budget that Indiana Jones and other movies have, right? Millions and millions of dollars behind it, to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
And there, this movie is in select theaters. It's not shown in all of the theaters. And there's like I saw some videos of some funny business when the movie was playing, like alarms going off and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
where they had to evacuate, the building,
Yeah,
the
the
theater. So
the one I saw was there was one where at the end when Jim Caviezel comes on and he's basically talking to the people in the theater. In one theater, they turned off the sound on that part, so it was just
really,
you see that he's talking, but you can't hear anything. So someone was kind of recording that. Um, and then I heard about some theaters not turning on the AC in those
yeah, that's what I heard. That
screens. When I got into the theater yesterday, the one where I watched it, um, it was because you walk through the lobby, right? So the lobby's fresh, and then I walked in there in the theater, and it was like it felt stuffy.
mm,
It was like, oh man, it's like, did they not have the air on in here? And I don't think they did until the movie started. Then you kind of felt but
circulation.
that
Yeah,
whole that whole like the 20 minutes of previews or whatever, like no, it felt just stuffy, real stuffy. And then after it's like, okay, you started feeling the air, but you could feel the difference from the lobby into the theater.
yeah,
So I think yeah, there's definitely some funny stuff, right? A lot
yeah.
of a lot of the theaters are, a bunch of young kids working, and who's the most manipulated.
Kids. Yeah,
So they probably try to take matters into their own hands.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
But going back to what you were talking about, is these people that don't have morals. Is that I thought it was very interesting in the movie how even bad guys had a moral compass and kind of switched and were helping, save these kids and stuff like that. Like these people that helped them in these operations,
Yeah.
they were in some shady ass business. But one of the characters tells a story why he kind of, wanted to help the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of that was pretty deep,
Yeah.
and like I said, a shady character, a real life shady character, still had a moral compass to know that you don't mess with the kids. There's something really wrong with you and sick if
Yeah.
you do that. And
And
then
mhm.
it just kind of it goes to show you that there's levels. So you've got like criminals, and then you've got your sick people,
Dude.
that I can't even I don't know, I can't even describe it.
No, and that's the thing, dude. It's like even people in prisons know that. You know what I mean? Like when they know a pedophile's in there, like that pedophile gets it. Chances most, they probably get killed most of the time.
Yeah.
Just the other day, that one doctor that was, I don't know, molesting the gymnast. I don't know if you remember that story.
Mm.
I forget his name, but he was like molesting a lot of the gymnast girls that were kind of making it to Team USA and all that. God,
Hmm.
it was
I
like a
remember about that. It wasn't. Isn't it pretty old, the story? But
it's like a few years ago, yeah.
mm-hmm.
But I think just the other day they stabbed him up in the prison.
Yeah,
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you deal with people with no morals, but even some people that you would say are shady or damn crazy, maybe they did some crazy stuff. Even they know, like, that's a no. You know what I
it's a
mean?
no go.
Yeah.
That's a no go.
It's like,
Like the way that I see it is like this: is that you got to be a special kind of sick
mhm.
to be into that,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I don't know. I mean, the movie was pretty cool. The way that it broke it down, because it did touch. It touched on what the pedos here in the United States, and how they have the videos, and how they acquire the videos, on the
Mhm.
internet, and stuff like that. And that's how the agents, well, in this movie, how they're tracking them, and trapping them and arresting them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then it shows you how the children get lured away from the parents, or just straight up, like you said, grab and snatch,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
they show the videos. I think everybody's seen the videos where, you know, you could be at a freaking, I don't know, ice cream parlor, or just walking down the street or whatever, and they
Yeah.
just snatch the kids, throw them in a van, a car, or motorcycle, and just take them, just straight take
Mhm.
them. So they show that. Then they show them the conditions on the way that they're trafficked from, whether it's countries in South America, um, Nigeria, wherever,
Mhm.
and shipping them through containers and those horrible conditions. I mean, they're being trafficked, for God's sake.
Mhm.
So it shows that part of it to, Mexico. So once they're in Mexico, then they come up the border. They show the scenes where they're straight up. They have passports, and they're coming
Mhm.
through the port of entry, and showing papers, into the United States. They come into the United States, then they have the handoff,
Yeah.
to the people that are going to distribute the kits to the pedos and stuff like that. So it gives you a glimpse of the entire process. It
Mhm.
could be different in different parts of the world, but they give you a glimpse of how everything goes down.
Mhm.
So, if you want to call this a conspiracy theory, time is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, because with time and evidence, it shows and it proves that it could be conspiracy facts
Mhm.
instead of theories. So, if we want to wait a little while and prove that these are conspiracy facts, I can't wait for that time. So all these people that are saying that, they're going to have egg in their face, and then they're going to be hiding behind a rock, and they ain't going to be saying anything. They're not going to say, "Oh, you know what? I was wrong." They're going to be hiding.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's like, I think you asked the question earlier. It's like, why would they not, like, why would they speak negatively against something like this? You know what I mean? Like,
For
why?
the same reason why these people that work at agencies to help kids end up being freaking pedophiles. That's
Because
why.
they're the customer,
Yeah.
or they know the customers. You know what I mean?
Or they're the customers are their friends,
Mm-hmm.
their homies.
And I mean, and you've seen it like before, right? There was a guy on CNN recently got arrested for having
Porn.
was it child
Well,
porn or something like
child
that?
porn. Mm-hmm.
Jared, the subway guy, that guy had child porn. There's so many examples of people in different industries that have been arrested or been caught up in all that stuff. And
And those are facts. Those aren't conspiracies.
no, those are facts. And that's what makes me think it's like, okay, they don't go hard at it because the people that are going to get affected the most, like when they lay down the law, it's going to be a lot of people they know. You know what I mean? And that's to me, it's like, all right, if you get so defensive in a movie like this, I got questions about you.
Yeah.
If you get upset that this movie with this message is being received and people are opening up their eyes to it, it's like, I got questions about you.
I got more than questions. If I'm an agent, I'm like, Judge, we need a search warrant for this person's home or whatever. And I'm pretty sure they'll find some,
some
damning
stuff, right?
evidence or something. Yeah. So.
And it's just, it's, again, I think people should just go watch it, make up their own mind, right? If they find it that it's like helpful or in a sense like, okay, makes them see the reality a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
good. And then sometimes people see how close it is, right? Because like you said, right, they're going through the border, right, to get into Tijuana. That that's here in California. That's close.
Well, check this
Obviously,
out. In the movie, it's through the port of entry, through the border. They're literally in a car showing papers.
mm-hmm.
So if they're doing it that
There.
way, what do you think is happening where they're crossing illegally?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right?
Through
And
the
then,
desert, through the Rio Grande. I mean, come on, man. It's like, you want to call it a conspiracy theory? Stick your head in that hole and hide. Don't
yeah.
listen to the reality. That's what you're telling me, is that you don't want to see reality.
Mm-hmm. You're not accepting it.
Yeah.
You again, like, a lot of those people live in mentally, they're like in a utopia. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And it it's crazy. It's crazy sometimes to think like, yeah, there are people like that. Like you said,
Yeah.
they rather stick their head in the sand and just ignore everything else, not hear that noise.
Yeah.
And and the thing too, it's like, it makes you think about the 85,000 children that are unaccounted for now. They came through our border. At least 85,000 of them did, right? Because they were once accounted for. Now they don't know where they're at. There's no real verification process to be like, all right, yeah, this kid is really yours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, isn't there that whistleblower that she went into hiding? She went to go out and help in the border because of the border crisis when Biden first came into office.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like in 21 or something like that, May 21. So anyways, she goes over and helps, and she starts seeing the reality of what's happening. And she starts seeing all these sponsors that are trying to pick up these kids. So these sponsors are giving like fake names, multiple addresses, so they can just straight up, grab any kid that they can.
Yeah. Or multiple. I think she had also said multiple kids at the same address.
Or that too, yeah.
And it's like, it's like, why is nobody going there? Like, immediately? Why is this lady talking? You know what I mean? Like, why is she
Yeah.
shedding the light on it? Like, why hasn't anybody been there already
Yeah.
and question that?
You know what the other movie kind of sheds light on too, though, is that this is one man, right,
Mm-hmm.
being helped by um, an agent from another country, and two bad guys that their moral compass is still,
Yeah.
understanding that you don't mess with the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is one man that got this done. So imagine if the agencies were invested in this and they put real money behind this,
Mm-hmm.
dude.
Can you
This
imagine?
this 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 would not even be happening. The kids would be the safest that they have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have to worry about pedophiles. They would snatch these pedophiles up. Like, we're in the 21st century with the technology that we have. They'd be snatched up in a hot second.
Just imagine, man. Like, if all the money that they wasted on the Mueller report investigation, you know, even the
Our
money,
money, our
yeah,
money.
the money that they wasted on J6, um, even the money they had to waste on Durham because of all the BS before that, right? All the money that they've sent to Ukraine that they've wasted there. It's like, imagine if they put those resources
Or the money
into
that they lost sending to Ukraine. Just that one. How much was it? Six. Was it billion or million? I don't
in
even
the
know.
billions.
Six
Yeah,
billion.
jeez, man. All that money, if they would have invested into something like this, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, what do you guys like? What are these three-letter agencies? What are they doing? You know, like what's really out there that
Protecting these people.
exactly? That's it, right? That's it. I mean, you see it with the Hunter Biden stuff.
Yeah.
His charges. He got a plea deal. Got a not if not even a slap on the wrist. Um, but they're going after Trump, right? There again, it's political. They're just political departments that are protecting, in this case, right now, the people that are in power.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder. It's like, okay, well, you're not going after any of this stuff. So who are you protecting? If you can't protect the kids, who are you protecting?
I don't know. I mean, you can make your own decisions and conclusions on that, but it's pretty obvious. It's like,
Yeah.
ask yourself, have you seen this on mainstream media? Have they been talking about this? Has this been a headline on mainstream media?
You don't
Uh,
even hear about kids in cages anymore, or kids in facilities, however they want to word it now. Because
mhm.
when it was Trump, it's kids in cages, but when it's
Yeah.
Biden, it's facilities or something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you don't even hear about that anymore.
Yeah. I I don't know what to tell you, man. It's a bunch of sickos running around out there, and they tell us all the time is that your kids belong to the community. Your kids belong to the community.
There
No,
are children.
they belong to the family. We're all part of the community, but they don't belong to you, right?
Hmm.
So
I don't know, man. It's uh, I mean, I guess it was a great movie. I think that as a community, as just people of this nation, as the people, right? Like we've been talking about, obviously these other places or agencies you would think are going to do something about it, they're obviously not at the moment. So it's like everyday people have to be aware, you know what I mean? They have to be paying attention,
mhm.
speaking out about it, even if it's at a local level, right? Like for example, the thing in California, it's like if one of those six that didn't go vote on this is representing you in this state, like you should be blowing their phones up, be like, hey, you're in this committee. I'm reading that you guys didn't pass this to make child trafficking a serious felony. It's like, where the hell were you? Why did you not vote? You know what I mean? Like,
What is more serious than that?
yeah, what are you doing? What were you what's taking up your time that you can't go vote an easy yes. It shouldn't be complicated. It shouldn't be. It's like it should be a simple yes. Where the hell were you yesterday?
Yeah.
Why didn't you vote? You know, those people, if they're representing you, you should be blowing them up today, blowing up their phone numbers, their
And I
emails.
think that's what part of the movie is supposed to do, is making us aware and then start thinking about that. You know, if it's not in the media, how are we going to know that there's, you know, these bills or anything, you know, trying to be passed or that have to be voted on?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is just making us more aware. I think that's part of what the mission is with this movie,
Yeah.
amongst many other things. But I think that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we start paying attention to it. You know, um, everything's heightened around, you know, that topic. I think that's what that mission is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of, man, it's so nice to, because we talk about, you know, who is really the majority, who is really the minority. So just with what we just talked about, the the lack of budget that this movie has and the success that it's having, and it's beating these movies with large budgets and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Who is the majority?
Right.
Who is the majority? It's like we are the majority. It's
Yeah.
just like it's like validation after validation after validation. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, so that's, you know, the optimist again is that, you know, that's what I see. I even saw a snippet of Joe Rogan. He was interviewing someone. I don't know who he was, but man, uh, I'm not. I can't say. Okay, so I didn't listen to Rogan regularly in the
Mm-hmm.
past, but you know he's changed throughout time. You know, he started out with some crazy ass conspiracy theories. Then
Yeah.
he toned it down, and you know, he was kind of like on the other side, and now he's coming back around to this side again. So he went from crazy conspiracies to, oh, those, you're crazy for thinking that. You know, like he almost was like on the liberal position to me.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the way that I saw it. Now he's flipping over to, you know, more of the conservative side. I saw a tweet where he was like, someone said that, you know, these far right wingers are obsessed with working out. So he tweeted, I don't know if you saw that. It's like, holy, so being in shape or working out is uh, far right,
Yes.
holy
All right.
crap,
Yeah.
or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, with him having these guests and what he was saying in his podcast about, um, how could this not be one of the most important things that you could, you know, address?
Mm-hmm.
That was refreshing. It was nice because it's like, you know, he's coming back to this side, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where someone would call it a conspiracy theory. You know, it's a conspiracy fact. So
Yeah, and I mean Joe right now, shit, he's got the biggest platform. He's bigger than CNN. He's bigger than Fox. You know, the conversations he has, you know, with the people that he has on, they get more attention than any news media nowadays,
Mhm.
right? And then him, and then I think now Tucker, when he's doing his things on Twitter, now he's getting a lot of attention there too. Um, but it's like, you know, he, it's crazy because I even started thinking about the whole King thing. You know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
like, dude, I before I watched this movie, it's like I understand why he did what he did, right? And you know, I don't know. I wish he wouldn't have missed, but
Yeah, he
you
needs.
know, I get it. And then even more now, it's like I really wish he didn't miss. You know, and it sounds crazy, but it's like, but if your cities, your police departments, whatever, right, aren't doing anything about it, it's like, you know, I get why he did that. It's like, what were they gonna do? What was the
Take a
state?
report.
What was the state gonna do? Not a damn thing. What have they done? Nothing. He's the they're trying to make an example out of him, right? They got him on house arrest, and it took over I think almost a year for him to get that. And it's like because he's a danger to society. It's like, no, he's not. The other asshole on bail is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The guy that was messing around with kids, that's the danger to society. And and it's like, you feel for him because like seeing this stuff, seeing this movie, and it's like, you know,
So if we take that example, the man that is trying to punish another man for abusing a minor, that offense is bigger than the other one.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Holy smokes!
It's crazy, dude. That's why I think one of my favorite scenes was when he's with that guy in the restaurant, you know, and when he kind of gives him what he wants,
Mm-hmm.
when he tells him that Bible verse,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he tells it to him with a smile. Like I think that was my favorite part because it's like, dude, like, yeah, you know,
Yeah, and the guy's like, "What?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's basically better for you to get killed than for you to hurt a kid. Is you know,
Yeah,
those are red letters.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I don't know, that was probably one of my favorite parts in that movie. Just because it's you don't have to be Christian, you don't have to be religious to even feel that way, but I just, yeah, uh, that's what he deserves.
yeah.
That's what they all deserve. And the point I was trying to make is like, if nobody else can do anything about it, and it's like you as parents, I don't know if I was in that situation. I don't know. There'd be some people that you know, I don't know, right? I hope to never be in that situation. That's why I try to stay aware, right? When you go out to the store, you're paying attention, to the people around, you know. I've always been like that where I'm kind of observing everything, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't know any of these people here with me. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if someone's gonna snap soon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if someone is trying to take my kid. Like, you gotta be aware of your surroundings. And I think the people that aren't or don't pay attention or you know, just getting on by and not being observant, those are the ones that get, something happens to them.
But isn't it the best on the videos when they try to snatch him and the mom is just like a freaking lion, like a
Yeah.
lioness, super quick and grabs him and holds
Hmm.
on to him and saves him?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a natural instinct where you would step in front of a bus to stop someone from doing that.
Yeah.
So those are, I don't know. That's I'm really happy that this is happening.
Yeah. For
Um,
sure.
it
For
it
sure.
it really is great. Um, and I wish him the best. And from what I see, it is going to blow up. It is going to happen.
Yeah.
So, like Daniel was saying, is that if you haven't gone out to see it, go out to see it, man. Go out to see it, support it, generate more noise, more revenue. I'm
Oh,
sure they're doing something good with the proceeds. Whatever money they're making, it's gonna go to a good cause. So
yeah. I was listening to Jim Caviezel. He was on the Sean, I think it's Sean Ryan's podcast. Um, and he was saying that they're already in the works for a second part
nice.
for I think another mission that Tim had in Haiti. So that's part two. So he said that's what he thinks is they're working on that one to be next. So I was like, all
Nice.
right, cool. So there you got a second one. And then the other thing I was gonna say though too, it's like obviously go see it in the theaters, but when this movie comes out like on DVD or Blu-ray, whatever it is, I would recommend to buy the physical copy
Mm-hmm.
because everything nowadays is digital, right? You buy a movie, it's saved digitally. You don't gotta have a little CD or
It's
Blu-ray
in the
player,
cloud.
nothing. It's in the cloud. So if you got a Blu-ray player, save it.
They're
because when
gonna delete that.
because when this movie drops, when you're able to watch it at home, you're gonna need, chances are you're gonna need that disc. So I would recommend buy the physical copy. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think people like that, like, yeah, they should be getting support. You know what I mean? People should be going to the movie. They
Mm.
should be buying the DVD, Blu-ray when it drops. Um, and that's part of the message that they're doing, right? Is they're even telling people like, look, if you can buy a ticket like for somebody else that you don't know, put it on our website. Someone else can grab it and go watch it. So people don't even have to like, in a sense, pay out of their own pocket because they've set something up so that other people that maybe can't afford it for whatever reason right now, they can go to their website, get a free ticket, and go watch it in their city. Like, and people are donating to that,
Yeah.
and that's great. So that's what I would do. I feel like that's what I'm gonna do when
Yeah.
the when the DVD Blu-ray drops. I'm gonna buy the actual CD because chances are they're gonna mess with that if it's just digital.
Yeah. No, I without a doubt, they're gonna mess with it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Hey, but what about the teasers with Mel Gibson? Is it? Have you heard whether it's like a multi-part series that he's going to be dropping with some truth bombs or something like that? Or
I heard something, but I haven't like seen anything, so I don't know. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised, and hopefully it is true
Mhm.
because you know it's he got a lot of stuff for making The Passion. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's because of that. It's because of that. Even Jim Caviezel got a lot of stuff for that, but they want to say it was like when he said the N word. I think when he got pulled over, or he
mhm.
said something that was racist. When he got
Oh,
pulled
when he
over,
was drunk, and
yeah,
they put it
something.
on. Yeah,
So it's like people want to say it's that, but it's not, man. It's some people that have said some dumb stuff are still, pretty popular in the Hollywood circles or whatever. But it's like he made The Passion. It's like they
mhm.
didn't want that.
But tell the story about the actor that played Jesus,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Caviezel. Yeah,
So he was saying on the podcast that when he was on the one I listened to Sean Ryan that you know when he was 14, like he was trying to figure out what he was going to do with his life, you know, and that he essentially he'd pray and ask God like, what do you want me to do? And then he said that one day when he was 14, he was in a theater and that he just felt God tell him, I want you to be an actor. And that's how he got into acting. And then I guess from what he says, like he went to an audition as an adult, and I think Mel Gibson walked in, and then out of nowhere, Jim Caviezel just tells Mel Gibson like, "Oh, I think you want me to play Jesus," and that at that time, I guess Mel Gibson was actually writing The Passion, but he wasn't casting it or anything, but that it caught him by surprise or something that he knew, and it just the God works in mysterious ways, right? Maybe the movies that Jim Caviezel's made have been, you know, two of the most impactful that I've seen, which is The
yeah,
Passion and then this one. In both movies, like at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, it's got you really thinking about things. You know what I mean? It's got you, on one, you're thinking about like, Jesus and everything he went through, for our sins, and then on this one, you're contemplating all the stuff that it's like, oh man, like that's happening in this world. That's crazy to these children, and it just, I don't know. To me, it's like those are two of the most important movies probably you could watch, in
yeah,
my opinion. So, and it's the same actor. So if Mel Gibson is doing something, I hope he is. I know they're working on I think they're supposed to be doing the Resurrection movie, so like the follow up to
oh yeah,
Passion. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that one's going to be good. But it's they hopefully they keep working, man. Hopefully they keep doing things like this and shedding light. One of the things they said in the movie, right? It's like you have to the darkness has to die.
yeah,
The darkness has to go away, and the only way you do that is you shed light into it. And if you just stay quiet and don't get any light to it and ignore it, you know, it'll continue. And it's like that saying, right? When I don't know it word for word, but it's like the worst thing is for good men to do nothing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it kind of shows you, it's like, yeah, you can't just not do nothing now. You know what I mean? You hear about these things and it's like I said, you got to be aware and you got to be able to, speak up. Or if you see these kind of things happening, do something about it.
Yeah. And that's what the guy was saying in Joe Rogan's podcast is that that's what we have to do is like we have to be aware. If I think the guy was from Houston, and I guess that's supposed to be like a hub for child trafficking.
I think it's the biggest.
Yeah.
In Houston, I think.
Yeah. And he was explaining because there's a port nearby and all kinds of different things like that. So he was saying like if you see something suspicious, like a bunch of kids in a van or whatever, that isn't quite matching up, or an 18-wheeler or something like that in a container, something like that. It's like you have to say something.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling a story about what a flight attendant. She noticed that this child was with this person, adult, a male, and something just seemed off, right? So she said something, got in communication wherever the plane was going. And when the plane landed, they were already waiting for him. Sure enough, find out that the child is being trafficked.
Mm.
So, like you said, awareness and actually saying and doing something,
Yeah, because doing nothing is the worst thing, right? It's the worst thing you can do. And that goes for anything in general, because as I was thinking about this stuff, it's like, I see a lot of people like saying, for example, and this is kind of not as important, but like kind of, I see a lot of people saying, oh, they're not going to vote because whatever reason, right? The candidate's not perfect. It's like, no, that's you not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Or the candidate's not Christian enough. It's like that's not a way to look at things. You're never gonna fully agree with someone. 100%.
But that's exactly what the opposite party wants.
Exactly. So if you do nothing, if you say I'm gonna sit out, I'm not gonna vote, it's like, okay, because he's not Christian enough. Well, you're gonna let the person that's gonna make you being a Christian a little more difficult. So, you know what I mean? You could not do nothing, but when you start losing your freedoms because you did nothing, like, don't complain about it, right?
Yeah.
If you see things happening and you don't do nothing about it, and then it affects you, don't complain about it later. It's like people have to realize that, they're the ones that have to act when they see something happening. And it's like if an emergency happens and everyone's just waiting for the other person to call 911. Nobody calls 911. You know what I mean? Like somebody's got to make the decision and act. So I think that's very important, and not just not doing anything. To me, like I find those things similar.
Yeah. And it is. That's why in one of the other episodes, we talked about you want someone that has that passion that's going to fight. Oh, we were talking about Trump. Is that is going to put up a fight, isn't going to lay down, isn't going to go, hey, you know what, I'm not going to stoop to your level. I mean, you don't want people stooping to a certain level where you're just unclassy or unethical. Unethical. Yeah. So, but you want someone that's going to call shit out when it needs to be called out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not being so nice, I think, is how we were putting it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Sometimes you have to be nasty. So And if we just sit back and we're so reserved that bad things happen because of it. So are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, no, and that's the thing. That's the you know consequences to your action or inaction.
Yeah.
You know, if you want better outcomes, chances are you got to do something. You know what I mean? It's like when you're at work. Sometimes, like if you if you want it to get done right, you end up doing. You got to do it yourself, or you got to really be involved so you see it through and it gets done right. But if it doesn't, you don't do anything, you don't contribute, and things go wrong.
Oh no, and you're an
You know what I mean?
influence too. So if you stand up and say something, everybody around you is going to perk up and start paying attention, and they're like, "Oh, he said something. I'm going to say something.
Mhm.
Oh, they both said something. I'm going to say something. Oh,
Mhm.
those three said something," and then you just get a crowd, and then everybody becomes fearless,
Mhm.
and wants to do the right thing because they feel the support, they feel the backing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it goes back to what the movie's message is, and I
Mhm.
think again, there's a lot of messages and a lot of different purposes, and I think that's one of them. It's just like a snowball effect.
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking too is like I really hope they have like a all Spanish version of this one. So like
Mhm.
because a lot of it, they do have a lot of Spanish in it, but like I
Mhm.
hope they have one that's completely in Spanish, and people are able to watch that in those kind of Spanish speaking countries. Um, but yeah, it's I think the time to be afraid and not speak up or worry about what other people are gonna say or how people are gonna what people at work are gonna think about you, what family's gonna think about you. I think that time that time's over. You know what I mean?
And in this movie's universal, it breaks through that. I
It
mean,
breaks through that.
anybody at work or at your family, they're gonna relate to this. They're gonna be pulled towards it. And if you
Mhm,
want to call it um, conspiracy, then yeah, this movie, they conspired to open our eyes. So yeah, you're right.
mhm.
It is a conspiracy.
Yeah.
So I'll turn the tables on them. I'm like, you're 100% right. It is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to open your eyes. Are your eyes open now?
Mhm. Yeah. And then they're not right there. It's
And
like,
if they're
nah,
not, then it's like,
head
all
in the
right,
sand. All right.
go put
So
your head in that hole in the sand over there. Continue.
yeah, yeah.
What ostriches do that, right?
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of sheep, we're gonna call them ostriches now.
Yeah, because that's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. But man, it was cool. It was a cool movie. It was a cool movie. I really liked it. So again,
So
if you haven't seen it, go see it.
it was just you and Letty that watched it, or what?
It was
Or,
just me because we were gonna watch it yesterday when I got home, but
Mhm.
the theater, it's only in two theaters out here in Fresno. So, they got to fix that. But there's only two theaters here in Fresno. And the time we wanted to go, there was one like at 6:40 and one at 10. So we wanted to go to the one at 6:40 because, I mean, 10's kind of late. We got to wake up early the next morning. And it was all booked. And then at the other theater, it was one at 8, but it was also like all booked. So I just, I ended up going by myself. On the way home, I stopped in Manteca, the the AMC there, and you're on mute. In on yeah, by the Bass Pro Shop.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So
That's where we watched it.
okay, yeah, that's where I watched it.
Okay.
So I watched it there before I came home. So you know, but it's good. I was telling Letty about it. How I was like, yeah, it's a good movie. Got me teary eyed like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
But I think too, that's the thing. Like it can reach everybody, right? Because everybody's a parent. I mean, not everybody, but a majority of the people are parents or have a brother, a little brother, a little sister, a little nephew,
Everybody
niece,
can
any
relate to it.
everybody can relate to it. You know what I mean? And as you watch that movie, in a sense, you start to think like, okay, well, like what if that was my family, right? And that's a question that they constantly ask each other throughout the movie. It's like, what if that was your daughter,
Yeah.
right? And I think they do that on purpose so that people can start to think about like, what if that was my daughter? And that's how it just, I think that's how it gets people's attention, right? Because it is unfortunately, it's a reality, it's a
Yeah.
terrible reality, but it's there. But if we just stick our heads in the sand and ignore it, it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
You know, um, the more awareness you bring to it, the less and less I would imagine these people that are trying to do this crap, you know, they they probably don't try to do it no more, or whatever, right? Or they're gonna get caught quick because people are paying attention.
Yeah. Well, it puts more pressure on the agencies, law enforcement. If we're more aware of it, we start asking more questions. Like you said, you start questioning, local leadership and stuff like that, and it just brings that much more awareness to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it slowly it'll just start getting lesser to where it's almost like a non-issue. This, in all honesty, this is something that no one should have to worry about. Period. Because if you get caught, kidnapping or trafficking or anything like that, the consequences should be so severe
Mm-hmm.
that your ass would never want to do that again, or you wouldn't even think about doing it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It shouldn't even be a thought, right? It shouldn't, because that's the other thing you start to think about. Like, damn, like how is it so accessible too? Like, you start thinking about like, the internet, right? The What do they call it? It's like the black
Black,
market or
black,
whatever.
yeah.
It's like, but like, how do people even know to get into that? You know what I mean? Like, why is that even a thing? Like, why does the
Dude,
online black market exist? Why don't they nuke that shit?
they can censor everything. They can shut us down right here, right now, if they wanted to,
Yeah,
right? They
but they can't
could,
shut down the fucking black
but they
market.
won't. They won't shut down that side of it. Come on, man.
That's again. That's where I was saying,
Patterns,
like,
patterns.
you start to like, what the hell are you guys doing? You know, what are you doing? And and it takes like people like Tim Ballard, right, to really go do it, right? I can imagine, like they kind of showed in the movie, it's a tough job, right? Not everybody would be up for that, or to do that. And then especially like if you don't get that sort of support, you know, it's demoralizing. It's I don't know. I don't know. Thankfully, there's people that can do that and do that job and are saving children. Because if nobody did it, it's uh, again, like you said, it shouldn't even be a worry. But if no one's doing anything or people are ignoring it,
Well, it's the opposite. They're trying to normalize it. Go figure. Where's the logic and theory on that?
yeah,
Trying to
yeah,
normalize it.
yeah. I mean,
And
like you
you heard
said,
what were those chants on those marches? Um
we're coming for your children, or
we're queer, we're here,
and we're
we're
coming for your
your
children. I think it
children.
didn't even rhyme. I remember I was like, this is
Yeah,
stupid. It doesn't even rhyme.
yeah. And
But it
then
was, yeah, we're here. Is it here queer coming for your children?
I don't know the
Right.
exact quote, man, but I mean, if you can't see the patterns of that, the what do they call it?
Drag
Uh
queen
drag
stuff.
queen story time or whatever,
And that's
or
the thing, dude.
or book, whatever they do is read the books or whatever the thing is. I mean, come on, it's the same thing. Trying to lower the age of consent. Look at the
I'm
pattern.
telling you, that'd be the first guy I'm fucking raiding his house. I'm investigating that guy right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But hey, he's a part of, our state government. You know what I mean? He's in a district that is gonna continue to vote for him. He's at a Castro. You think they're gonna not vote for him? You know what I mean?
No, but you
Like,
know what? I've seen some videos now that, and I'm sure these are suppressed too,
mm-hmm,
is where they, um, homosexuals have stood up on a podium and actually said, "Hey, you're not representing us."
mm-hmm.
It's like this, even this pride flag. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing it because it doesn't represent me. Have you seen that video?
I think I saw one
Yeah.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the American flag represents me. I
Mm-hmm,
just, happen to be a gay American.
mm-hmm.
Period. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So
I think you know, first time I met Peter, um, that was one of the stories he told me about. How he was doing the stuff in Hollister, right? Because he's part of the city and all that, and that they wanted to do that and put up a pride flag. And he's like, why? He said, we got this American flag that already represents everybody.
everybody.
Everybody. Doesn't matter what you believe in, don't believe in. It represents everybody. And and I was like, okay, like, it's like, yeah, it represents everybody, right? Whether you agree with them or not, we have one flag that represents everybody, and I think the more people speak up, the better, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't matter who you are, right? Again, this isn't a partisan issue. It's not a, um, whatever religion you are. It's like it's a humane, you know,
Human rights.
human right
Human rights
issue
issue.
that everybody should be on the same page.
Mhm.
Again, and if you're not, you're suspicious. Yeah, gotta ask you some questions.
Yeah.
You know,
We need to identify them.
yeah.
They want to create all kinds of databases and stuff like that for like, gun owners and, Second Amendment supporters. Like, really, you want to put us in a database?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, 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 no. Let's create a database for all these people that support, you know, these freaking inhumane.
And
Uh,
dude, and it's like, yeah, it's like all that drag stuff. Like that's, come on, like, you know, like you're saying, like where is that leading to? Why do you have grown men, dressing up to go read, for kids, or if they have drag family friendly shows and the guys are half naked with kids in the audience, you know. First of all, it's like, parents, what the hell are you doing, right? But secondly, it's like, all right, dude, why are you so happy to do that right here, right now?
yeah.
It's those are real questions that people don't want to ask because they ain't trying to offend the alphabet group. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that I don't know. I think the plus is the problem, but that's just that's just me. Yeah, I think they're trying to hide a lot in there, and
Well,
they hijacked it.
they hijacked it. That's
They took too
exactly
much. Like,
it.
you know.
And some of them are upset about it. A lot of them are upset about it. Let's not get it wrong. It's that, some people just want to be who they are, but
Mhm,
they understand, how a lot of these operations work, as they get hijacked.
mhm,
It's like right away, hey, Maps wants to be a part of, that identity. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's like, no, 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 no. If I was gay, I would. That's the one thing I would be doing right now. It's like, you are not going to start being identified as a part of our community. You get your ass on
Mhm,
that side of the street and start your own thing.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, if I'm proud of, that rainbow flag, then I'm gonna be like, hey, Maps, you go make your own flag and identify yourself as a Maps.
Actually, yeah. Identify yourself. That's
Yeah.
what they should do.
That
Make
would
your
that
own
would be good.
flag.
You know what?
Fly
Go
it
ahead
out your
and put
house.
that flag in front of your house. We want to see that flag in front of that Maps flag in front of your house. Wear that Maps hat, that Maps shirt. Put a
uh,
sticker on your car.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, do that.
We'll be
Oh
watching you.
goodness, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's funny. But no, man. Like in all seriousness, like, um, yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna be aware now, and
Yeah.
as long as I think yeah, keep it going,
I
and
think it's like mission accomplished
hmm
with that movie.
and then even though all these people that are talking bad about it or calling it QAnon or this or that, it's like they're just giving it more publicity.
Keep going.
Keep going, yeah, keep going. People are gonna show up. People are gonna watch it, and there's not a damn thing you could do about it. You could try to theaters can try to do what they want to do, however they feel about it.
You're just standing out.
Yeah,
You're just letting us know what side you're on. That's it.
yep. You're just making it obvious. So
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. But other than that, I mean, I don't. I don't think there's. I feel like something. Did anything happen the past week? Oh, the the cocaine at the White House.
Oh, the cocaine.
There was that too. Again,
Yeah.
they know who it is. Just like they know who all these pedophiles are, they know whose cocaine that was. They just got to do something about it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the safest house in the entire country with a visitor log, with I'm sure video cameras all over the place,
Yeah,
with security, the best security in the nation.
mm-hmm.
And they can't figure out whose cocaine it was. Well, I know whose it was.
I know whose it was. I don't got to be there. You know what I mean? Shit.
Oh my gosh!
It's pretty obvious.
I think we're being punked. It's how many years has it been?
Too many.
Too many.
Jeez,
Yeah.
way too many, man.
We're being punked.
That's the thing, man. It's just, it's crazy. It is crazy that we see all this going on, and that all these stories start breaking, and the cocaine and this and that. When it comes to this, the money, the bribery, this and that, and you know, even Biden when he was saying something, and he's like about him trading secrets or something. Like, you remember that clip? It's like, dude, like they're telling you everything like in your face, like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like, well, what are you gonna do about it?
I mean, it goes all the way back. Obama tries to say that he had a scandal-free administration, and it's like,
come on, man.
No, you didn't. Like, who are you fooling, man?
Yeah, it's I don't know, man.
It's like gaslighting 101, man. It's crazy. That's why I say I feel like we're getting punked. Ashton Kutcher is gonna come out of behind a curtain and say, "You're getting punked."
Yeah, he probably is. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We got we're about like a year and a half, less than a year and a half from the next election. So, my suggestion to people is, start being more aware of everything, of what they're telling you, what they're not telling you. Because if you're aware, you're gonna notice there's things that they aren't saying. Question things. Support those people that are gonna fight for your, defend your freedoms. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose them, right? They already want to censor what you say, right?
So it's like they've
been right, but you think they're gonna stop there?
Mm-mm.
Like, soon enough, it's like you're not gonna be able to be a Christian in this country.
Yeah.
And what? And you're not gonna vote, or you're not gonna do anything because that person that probably would fight for your freedoms wasn't as Christian as you. Like, come on, you gotta be smarter than that. Yeah. So, this next, until the next election, hopefully we can continue doing this and making some noise out there, and hopefully people hear what we have to say or others have to say, and
Yeah.
I don't. I find it hard to believe that if it ends up being Biden and Trump, which I think it will be, I find it hard to believe that Biden would be anywhere near to the close to the number that Trump's gonna get. You know what I
What do
mean?
you think? What do you think he's gonna get?
Geez, so supposedly he got 81 million, right? Last one. Trump got
Oh, yeah.
76, I think.
78. I heard.
Okay, so yeah. So Trump had got like what? I think it was like 13 or 14 more than the previous election. So his number went up. But he couldn't get to 81 some, you know. I think Trump, let's see. What would Trump get? Okay, if it's I'm gonna talk like him now. If it's an honest election, over 95 mil. If it's honest.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
if it's honest, it's over 100.
Yeah. If it's an honest election,
If
Trump's
it's
smoking
honest,
him.
it's over 100. If they're gonna cheat again, it's gonna be in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even with the cheating, they won't be able to stop them this time around. I
Yeah.
think this is why all of this stuff is happening right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, because you see videos all the time, people that voted for Biden that go, nah, I'm gonna vote for Trump. You know, they change their mind like this ain't it, and it's like
Yeah.
you see a lot of that. So I just find it hard to believe that Joe Biden, being in the state that he's in, and then also the state that he's had our country in, I don't see it. I don't
I
see it.
didn't see it the first time around.
I didn't see it either, but they were good cheating, so
Yeah.
you know they got us.
They're professional cheaters, man.
They got us. Broke some pipes, covered some windows, but shit, they got it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anywho, man, it's we'll see what happens. But you know, I posted the thing the for Peter Hernandez, and I posted the one for Myra. And I got one more. You guys can figure that one out. But I did those two for sure. Well, those three in total are no brainers in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, Peter's a good dude. I think he's trying to do the right thing. You know, especially we grew up in the area he's trying to represent. And, you know, we see it when we go back there that, you know.
Dude, I went over there for work, and I thought it was bad growing up. Holy smokes, man. There's weeds and the maintenance of the roads and everything. It looks like they don't even clean anymore.
They gave up.
Dude, it's like, where are those tax dollars going?
I don't know. Probably, you know, some people's pockets.
I'd be pissed off just driving down the street on a normal, like.
I get pissed off driving down those streets now. I'd rather turn around and drive back to Fresno.
Goodness gracious, man.
So I think Peter, you know, to me that's no brainer for that area. They need something different, and you know, he's a great guy. He's gonna fight for your freedoms. He's gonna really represent the people. And then, you know, obviously Myra, she was already in there. She was the first Mexican-born congressperson ever. Mm-hmm. She's like the example, one of the, you know, best examples of the American dream. And it's like, to me, it's like there's no brainers. Yeah. They're two good people that are gonna fight for your freedoms, and that's the most important thing. It's like you need people that are gonna fight to keep you free and not try to chip away at your rights. Yeah. So, you know, I believe those two people are in it for good reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
But anywho, well, you got anything else, or are we good to go?
We're good.
All right then. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in.